So with Lily in Paris, I decided that I'd make the most of having a bit of free time. So I decided to fly to Kraków, which I keep calling Krakow, and I will try my best not to. Anyway, obviously I went for a climb in the morning. Then I headed over to Leeds Airport. From there, took off and landed in Kraków, not Krakow, a couple of hours later. Ventured past St. Florian's Gate, which was beautiful, and then walked further into the old town. Walked through the cloth market, which was really nice, in the centre of the old town. Did a little bit of shopping, but I did more of that on the last day. I was mostly looking by the time I got there on the first day. Ventured through the cloth market and then up to see the Basilica, which is also called the Bugle Tower. It's called the Bugle Tower because a bugler plays there every hour, and apparently it's an old legend that the bugler was playing from there and was shot. So every hour there is a bugler pokes out the window, plays a bit of a tune, but stops halfway through the tune suddenly to replicate where someone was shot. Anyway, I went from there, walked towards my hotel to get checked in, found a shot bar, decided why not, I'd have a shot, went to an Italian restaurant. It was decked out for Valentine's Day, so I had my Valentine's meal for one, which was lovely. Then when I left the restaurant, it started to snow. A lot. So I walked around in the snow, around the back of Wawel Castle, there's a dragon. It was still absolutely pelting it down with snow, so I went and found another little bar, which was awesome. At one part, there was a ladder that you actually had to climb to get to the upper seating area, so obviously I had to climb that. Got chatting to a few people in the bar that were friendly, that were also from Leeds, so I had a drink with them, and then I headed back to my hotel in the snow, taking in the sights, and being generally very cold. Next morning, I woke up to absolutely glorious snow out the window. Was very glad I bought some new boots for the trip because my trainers wouldn't have cut it. I took a walk through some of Planty Park, which is a park that borders Kraków, to get to the train station because I was off to the salt mines. I was booked in very early, so I had a 7 a.m. Set walk through the park. Barely anyone else there. Gorgeous, untouched snow. Salt mines, absolutely fantastic. I got the train there and then descended hundreds of steps to get into the mines themselves. Everything in the mines was mined out of rock salt. All of the displays, absolutely everything in there, some of it dating back hundreds of years. It was absolutely amazing. And mine has been extremely religious. There were a lot of chapels, one of which was particularly stunning. Carried on walking through the rest of the tour. It looked like something from Lord of the Rings in the Mines of Moria. It was absolutely fantastic. And then towards the end of the tour, there's the option to go up an elevator in their largest room. It's one of the largest underground rooms in the world. They actually put a hot air balloon in there so they could fly a hot air balloon at the lowest possible altitude. From there, I walked back through the park and took the train back to the old town. I decided then to do a loop of Planty Park, which, as I said, borders Kraków itself. It's about 3 miles, I think. It's absolutely beautiful. It reminded me of Central Park. So I walked all the way around Planty Park, saw someone sledging, which was good fun. Stopped in for a hot dog and then carried on my loop again. After the loop, I called it a coffee shop to warm myself up, and then decided to venture to the Jewish quarter, which was on the east side of the city. Over in the Jewish quarter, loads to see, loads of nice squares, but there was a courtyard there that featured in Schindler's List. So I visited there, took a picture, carried on walking. Found a bridge which had some people doing acrobats on, not real people, sculptures of people, and carried on over the bridge into the ghetto area. In the Jewish ghetto, there was a monument to the Holocaust, 70 empty chairs to represent people that left their homes and never came back. After that, I took a walk down the river, spotted that there was a big Ferris wheel at the end, the Kraków Eye, and decided I'm a big kid, so I'm going to go on the Ferris wheel. And then after that, decided it was probably time I got myself a proper meal. And then called it a fairly early night after that. On the last day, it was -8 degrees C, so I wrapped up extremely warm before leaving the hotel room with my bag. I was going to visit Wawel Castle, so I'd walked around the outskirts of Wawel, but hadn't been inside. The inside was fantastic. I spent about 4 hours there. You couldn't take much in the way of pictures when you're inside the different exhibits, but I ventured through the catacombs, which was fantastic, showed a lot of history of the castle and what it had been used for in the war and how it had changed, and then also ventured into the armories, which showed weapons over the years. And yes, I stopped for a hot chocolate to warm myself up and then carried on. After the armories, I went into the cathedral. Again, there was no pictures allowed in the cathedral itself, but it was beautiful. However, you were allowed to take pictures and video in the bell tower, which is like climbing through a video game. It was absolutely fantastic. After the bell tower and the cathedral, it was about time to get myself back for the flight, but I had a little bit more tourist time. After the basilica, I got another hot dog because I really liked them. Now it was time to hop on the train to the airport, jump on my plane and get home. Then, of course, the first thing I did when I got back in about 8 o'clock at night was to drive to City Block and cap the holiday off with a climb. Then I went to bed after doing about 80,000 steps over the 3 days.